This case does not set right in my bones at all. There are 6 things that I want to talk about that nobody's really talking about that are bugging me about this case. From Dorothy getting on the news saying that the police told her one thing, to Darnell actually sitting in his, I want to say his arraignment or what have you, and saying another. There are a lot of things. Let's go over them really quick. Okay, the first thing that really tripped me out, I don't know if y'all remember, but I'm going to put the interview over here. But in this interview that Dorothy was talking to Silver, which is a journalist for the WTOL or what have you in Toledo, when asked where had she heard about where Darnell was, Dorothy said at that time that she did, to her understanding, he had got into a pew with the police, and that he confessed to the unaliving of Keimani. And then she said, oh no, I'm sorry, not the unaliving, to the raping situation. But that's what he confessed to. When that's not what happened recently in his arraignment. So the first thing that I find really crazy is when Dorothy said that the police told her that he had confessed. However, in the court, Jones pleaded not guilty to all charges, all 15, including aggravated unaliving and the other parts of the case. This contradiction is one of the reasons why people are not easy. I remember when I was doing my live, I did my live recently, maybe like last week. I consider that recent since I'm writing a book and movie right now, y'all. In case y'all wondering where I've been, I'm actively writing my books and I'm about to be filming soon, so I gotta get my screenplay together. But I did that live, and one of the things that I was hoping that if he was solely responsible, that of course come in and say it was me. But in the event that, you know, it's other people involved, please bring them in. And I had no idea that he was going to say he was not guilty to anything. So that we are starting now to open the floodgates. But I find that very interesting that she claimed one thing and then he claimed another. The other part that I find very strange about this case is the focus on the cousin, Caleb Jones Dixon. So Caleb Jones Dixon is Darnell's cousin, and he's heavily implicated in the warrants, the recent warrants that are coming out. And it's showing that both men, Darnell and his cousin Caleb, were in the area of the scene. Phone records showed the GPS. Police tracked his vehicle via Roadie, some kind of delivery app, ROADIE, and searched his home seizing a hatchet and some stained clothes. But what's up with the charges? The charges are being delayed. Why? I find that very strange. Despite the evidence, he hasn't been charged, possibly due to ongoing forensic testing. I'm not sure. I know some of y'all come in late. Oh no, this is late. You don't know what you're talking about. The peoples did charge him. I'm talking about as of right now, the 7th. I just did my search, so unless it didn't pop up, he has not been charged. So despite all of this, why hasn't he been charged? Don't y'all find that strange? I find that very strange. The third thing is the suspicious evidence against Darnell Jones. So you have the stained articles that were found in Dorothy's house. Dorothy reported Keimani's stained clothing in the dining room, but that disappeared when they did their search. Possibly, if we believe that Darnell acted alone or in concert with everybody else, it's possible that he had something to do with that. But I also find that very strange. Security systems, the tampering. Jones' girlfriend, Nina Turner, said he asked to disable this home security the night Keimani went missing, which she'd already came out in as much as we know as of right now. Confession to the police. Jones allegedly admitted to dragging into the Miami Street home and unaliving her. But when he got on trial for the arraignment, all of that went out the window. Like, I was so surprised. I wanted to come earlier and do a video. Like I said, I've been backed up. But I was so surprised because it contradicts with what we've been hearing. The other thing is the key physical evidence. So the plastic mat and boots that were seized from Jones' home, possibly used to transport Keimani. The weapons, which was the knife and the hatchet, were taken from Jones Dixon's house. And the burner phones, they found multiple devices that were confiscated, suggesting attempts to hide communication. Again, with the cousin, you have all of this stuff in addition to Darnell's alleged confession, why has he not been formally charged? The timeline in this case I find very strange. So the timeline of surveillance discrepancies: cell phone pings. A phone, possibly Jones or his cousin, we don't know which phone it is, was last called at 1:49 a.m. near Dearborn Avenue, close to both suspects' house, both Darnell and his cousin's house. And the surveillance video contradicts Jones' claim that he waited outside the house until 12:30 a.m. when they were trying to find her, when she needed help or said that somebody was bothering her. Allegedly, Keimani called and said, look, I'm afraid somebody's around the house, somebody's near, can you come help? He allegedly came and hung out at the house around 12:30, but there's some contradictions. Footage shows him and his cousin present with Keimani. This is strange. So y'all, I want to know, while I'm delving into all of this, are y'all getting this information more now because of the pressure, or was it always there and now y'all releasing it? I mean, this is whatever, but there's more. Of course I have more, and of course I could not do just 6. I had to pull some other ones up because this thing is just driving me crazy. Okay, number 6, and again I got more, but the 6th thing is the uncharged parties that we already talked about. The cousin Caleb, and since he was the one who had allegedly went with Darnell to see Keimani when Keimani said that somebody is bothering me, and again this phone call that somebody's at the house and all of that Keimani allegedly sent out to her father or anybody who could pick up the phone, we don't know if that's 100% true yet. We're, I believe, for the most part, getting that from him. But in addition to the cousin, there are other people that we feel should be maybe brought up, or just some questions. Number 1, Nina Turner knew about the plastic Mac hidden in the basement but hasn't been charged. Okay, the thing I think about Nina, the reason why I'm not really locked in on anything being brought up against her, is because she was a person that told the police where Darnell could be located, and that information proved to be beneficial. But I've noticed she has a lot more questions. That was his right hand, so I know she knows more. The other one, Linda Ogletree, which is Jones's mother. Police obtained warrants for her phone after she denied contact with Jones despite a recorded call between them. So there were calls between them. Why did she lie? If this is your granddaughter, which the T-babies, as we all know, we hear that he is, but until a DNA test is drawn, we can't 100% be sure that he is. But if that is your alleged grandchild, wouldn't you want to know? Why hasn't she been charged, or at the very least brought up for more questions? Or is she? They're not telling us. And then Lisa White, the household helper, somebody that's just around the house helping. She wasn't home the night of the disappearance, but her role remains unclear. Did she know anything about what was happening in this house? Because I told y'all I'm an overachiever. The other thing, number 7, I said 6, but the 7th thing is the 911 call reveals gaps in the timeline. I'm talking about Dorothy's 911 call. She struggles to pinpoint when Keimani went missing, saying, to the best of my understanding, she's just been missing this morning. Now, this is why a lot of us gagged, because shouldn't you know, since you are the guardian, Keimani's schedule? Okay, a lot of us latchkey kids, there are more kids that are staying probably home in the wee hours of the night than we realize by themselves. Does it make it right? Absolutely not. So we know things are going on, but you should still know that schedule. She doesn't appear to even know that schedule. So that was strange to me. To the best of my understanding, suggesting that she wasn't home when Keimani disappeared, which, okay, could be scheduled if you have a job, but you still should know. She usually is home at this time, or any of that. Number 1, the critical timeline issue. The call underscores that Dorothy wasn't present when Keimani vanished, which we know, leaving a gap in the narrative. This aligns with the warrant stating that the grandmother was at work Angola Road, about 8 miles away, when the crime likely occurred. And then the stage scenes. The burners left on, the stoves were left on with the gas, the displaced rug, missing undergarments suggest that the perpetrator had time to manipulate evidence when Dorothy allegedly returned home. But then why couldn't they find them items? What's up with that? Did he take them? What's going on? strange things about this case. Number 8. When I did a video, there's a video, I'm going to put it over here on the side. But when I did a video, and it was the interviews of the Keimani Latique, and one of them was Darnell just looking beside himself with, he just looked like he was insane with it. I said to myself then that he appears to be in torment. Now we find that possibly could have been the case. I have been talking about the fact that, first of all, I create monsters full-time for a living. I'm about to create a whole bunch of them more with this upcoming book and this movie. And I create monsters for a living. And I have been telling people that people don't do things like this except something is wrong with you. You just don't. Now we're finding out that may be true, because in the recent arraignment with Darnell, it shows that he admitted to taking meds for anxiety, depression, bipolar, and schizophrenia, and pain medication from a prior accident. So he has been known to take these things. The judge wanted to make sure that his medication didn't impair his understanding of what was about to happen. In other words, sir, we understand that you may be on these things, but you can catch these charges. But at the same time, it goes back to the point that if he did do these things, is he unwell? What I find strange is the judge, when he's pled not guilty to all 15 charges, it wasn't for reason of insanity. It was just not guilty. Are you saying that wasn't you? A strange thing. That's why it's on my list, even though I said only 6. Number 8. He requested a speedy trial waiver and timeline. So Jones waives his rights to a speedy trial for 60 days, which is until June 27th, to allow the defense to prep. His people are being cut off majorly by this timeline, but he doesn't seem to care. Why? Does he want it to be over and done with? What's going on with that? His arrest date, March 25th, starts the clock. So Ohio requires trial within the next 90 days unless waived. So he appears to want this thing to be going on. There is a lot of strange things about this case. Whenever we think we know stuff, we learn some more. I honestly believe that we are going to be shocked when more details arrive from this. And as long as the people who are involved gets their due, I say bring it on.